this is Nikki, and I'm here to share the messages that I get from Spirit and from all of our higher selves that are helping us on this journey to unconditional love. Love of the journey, love of the soul group that are most definitely helping us back into our divine unions. And this is just part 3 of today's message. And so if you are drawn to my messages, if you're drawn to come to me for healings or to join the crystal grid, I do a crystal grid which I was guided to set up for me and my twin to help us come into our unions. And it uses rose quartz crystals, which are for unconditional love. And it's all about grounding the energies of unconditional love onto the planet. And then it's all of our higher selves that are helping to come out with these messages. And so this is why, again, I'm kind of blown away again. Every single day I'm just like, you what? Right, so the message this morning was about the teacup, because the lady had seen the teacups in the thrift shop, 2 teacups, and then in the Once Upon a Time episode yesterday, Rumpelstiltskin and Belle get married, and she talks about the teacup. Now, it reminded me that a long time ago, right at the beginning when I first set up this channel, I did a healing for a lady. And she sent me a video which is about the teacup inspiration story. I'm going to put the link to it in the description box, but I'm going to read it out to you because it is beautiful. And just as a reminder of what we're doing on this twin flame or awakening or, you know, journey. Because remember, it's so much of a bigger picture. It's not just about this relationship with this physical person. It's about waking up to who you are as a soul, loving every single part of you. And so this is why this is so perfect. Now, I came to Google to just Google a teacup image. And what's the first one that comes up? Alice in Wonderland. The other thing is I always pay attention to how the videos are loaded. And the last video loaded with Rumpelstiltskin weaving the gold. So that's what they also want you to know, that keep wishing upon those stars. Keep using their energy to create the life of your dreams. Okay, so this is the teacup inspirational story, which you can relate to a twin flame journey, an awakening story, finding out who you truly are as a soul. So I'm going to read it. A couple went into an antique shop and they saw a beautiful little teacup sitting on a top shelf. And they just fell in love with that teacup and they said, we have to get that teacup. They wanted to be their teacup, and all of a sudden the little teacup began to talk to them. It said, you know, I've not always been like this. There was a time when nobody wanted me. You see, there was a time in my life when I was just an old, hard, grey lump of clay. But the master potter came along and he picked me up one day and he began to pat me and reshape me. Stop it, what are you doing? That hurts, leave me alone. And he simply looked at me and said, not yet. And then he put me on this wheel and he began to spin me around and around. I got so dizzy that I could hardly see where I was going anymore. I felt I was losing it all. Everything was spinning around and around and everything was out of control. I said, let me off here. And he just looked at me and said, not yet. Finally, all that patting, moulding, squeezing and pinching had helped me get a new shape. And all of a sudden he put me into this furnace, which is called the first firing. I just thought to myself that there is no way I can stand this. I'm just not going to make it. I'm going to die in here. Get me out of here. You see, the oven door had glass in it, and the master would look through that glass and he wouldn't let me out. He looked at me and said, not yet. Finally, he opened the oven door, took me out and set me on a shelf, and I thought, phew, thank God that's over. Then he began to paint me all over with this sticky paint, changing my colour from grey to this pretty blue that I am now. And I said, this stuff stinks and this is choking me. I don't like this smell, stop it. Then he put me back into the oven again, and it was called the second firing. It was twice as hot as the first oven. Now I know I'm going to die. He was just looking at me through that glass and said, not yet. Then one day the door finally opened. He took me out and he put me up here on this shelf to let me cool off. He came by and handed me a mirror. I looked at myself and could not believe how I have changed and how beautiful I was. Why did I not look anything at all like that old clay pot? Now I am this beautiful little delicate teacup, and everybody wants me now. But there was a time in my life when nobody wanted, nobody liked me, and nobody paid any attention to me. They just kicked me around and walked all over me. But now I am special, but I wasn't always this way. Anybody that has been on that shelf and anyone that has been on that oven, anybody that's felt the ache while being reshaped and remolded, remember that your divine plan is in complete control. The clay is in the potter's hands. He will mold us and make us so that we may be made into a flawless piece of work to fulfill his good. You are the clay, you are the potter. We are all the work of your hands. And I think that's from Isaiah 64:8. Okay, so, I mean, again, what a gorgeous message, because actually, you know, that is so true, because once you're on this journey, it is like a crazy journey. You do feel like you're going through fire. Look at this, and it says, let the universe's will and his plans alone be established in our lives. Let his will be our ultimate destiny. Every individual is unique if they can discern their spiritual gift and put their spiritual gifts into practice. Well, there you go. How cool is that? So, the reason why that's also cool is then the message, the other message, that the song that was coming through is every little thing you do is, every little thing she does is magic. So, this is the other part of the message. So, this is what your Divine Masculine wants you to know, or Divine Counterpart. Though I've tried before to tell her of the feelings I have for her in my heart, every time that I come near her, I just lose my nerve, as I've done from the start. Every little thing she does is magic. Everything you do just turns me on. Even though my life before was tragic, now I know my love for her goes on. Do I have to tell the story of 1,000 rainy days since we first met? It's a big enough umbrella, but it's always me that ends up getting wet. Every little thing she does is magic. Everything she do just turns me on. Even though my life before was tragic, now I know my love for her goes on. I resolve to call her up 1,000 times a day and ask her if she'll marry me in some old-fashioned way. But my silent fears have gripped me long before I reach the phone. Long before my tongue has tripped me, must I always be alone? Every little thing she does is magic, and everything she do just turns me on. Even though my life before was tragic, now I know my love for her goes on. Now, I'll tell you, this is actually a really special song for me, because I wrote this song. This song came through to me quite early on, a while ago, and I wrote the words to the song in my journal. So I was guided to write the words. There's lots of songs that I've written the words to in my journal. Now, this just ties into the message this morning where I was saying about don't get hung up on time. Because when I was doing this, because it said in here about 1,000 days, it's been 1,000 rainy days since we first met. At the time, I was counting out, well, if it's 1,000 rainy days since we first met, maybe it's giving me a message saying that I'm going to get back together with my twin 1,000 rainy days in 1,000 rainy days time. So I started counting out what was 1,000 rainy days since we first met. And that's what I mean. That's why I have, you know, that's why I totally can relate to every single person that comes. And of course you want to know about the timing, but that's when, you know, now it's about knowing that at some point you will come together, and it is knowing that that is your destiny. And so much more of it is about finding the beauty of you, really, and concentrating on your own journey, and just knowing that whatever you're doing for yourself and living the life of your dreams, creating your dream life, using your twin spirit to help you do that, because at the end of the day, They want you to be the Alice in Wonderland. They want you to have your dream life. Because it doesn't matter about time, because they're already with you. They're already in your heart. You can see it everywhere. So basically on the song, oh, this is what I was going to say. This is the police song, Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic. And there is a message in here. I mean, there's loads. But there is one that I was particularly drawn to, because you are their Achilles heel, right? You're the one that they can't forget about. You're the one that shakes up their world. So in here, there is an Achilles soul. And, oh look, there's a 22. I mean, there's loads in here, but boy, racer boy. Oh, where is it? There is an Achilles soul in here. I'm not going to be able to find it. Oh, look here. Right, there's an Achilles soul. Look at that. And so you are there, and it's number 6 as well. Right? So this is the thing. You're the Achilles soul for them, because, and above it is the 69, the divine mirror. That's why you're their Achilles heel. And the wood. Oh my God, look at that. And then wood above. Justin looks like turtles. Oh my God, it's turtles. I mean, seriously, you could just keep going on and on and on. But look, you are their Achilles. You're their Achilles heel. They can't, you know, at the end of the day, you know, you're always there with them. So, you know, and they are your divine mirror. So, and turtle, eternal love. And they've got, it's called the Woodies. Woodies, eternal love. Oh my God, I love that. So just remember this. They want you to know that everything you do is magic, right? And they want to help you create magic for your life. So call in your twin spirit to help you. And just a beautiful thing, because the other thing that I really get the sense of is I resolve to call her up 1,000 times a day and ask her if she'll marry me in some old-fashioned way. But my silent fears have gripped me long before I reach the phone, long before my tongue has tripped me. But must I always be alone? Every little thing she does is magic. Everything she do just turns me on. Even though my love for her was tragic, now I know my love for her goes on. Well, there you go. That's what they want you to know. All right. Well, listen, I hope that helps. Take care. And thank you again, because if it wasn't all of our higher selves coming together to bring these messages out, then I wouldn't be doing it. So thank you so much. All right. Take care. If you want to come to me for healing or to join the Crystal Grid, please do. All details are in the link. Okay. Take care. Thank you. Bye.